Last week, the stock market displayed a couple things. One is the breakout that we're watching, and then also came back in and have a couple of big sell day. So that kind of spooked the market, and everybody is yelling stock market crash once again. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the stock market, the S&P 500, the internal, the sentiment indicator, and see where the stock market is actually heading. And then also we're going to take a look at the SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500. Going to take a look at some of the level and what are some of those trade levels to keep an eye on in the coming week. Looking at the multiple index chart, I'd like to point out just a couple things that has transpired this week. Remember the Russell, last week the Russell did not get back to the December 2018 low. This week it got back up there, and in matter of fact, it is coming back to retest that level. And also the other thing was the Dow Jones Transportation. We were saying that we got a non-confirmed recovery high compared to the Dow Jones Industrial. Okay, here on this point here. And this week it actually had made a confirmation. So it did make a new recovery high before it pulls back. So those are a couple key things that the multiple index chart have showed us. On the sentiment chart here, we look at the S&P 500 versus the VIX and also the put-call ratio. You see the put-call ratio jumped back above 1 here last Friday. Remember last week we were talking about that it popped up back above the 0.75, and we're kind of keeping an eye on that to see what it moved back up to 1. It did pull back a little bit to give a little bit of a fake out, and before it started to accelerate back up. And also you notice the VIX also came back up above the 37. So we're going to see what it get back up to that 40, 45 area. And looking at the up-down volume here, you see the up-down volume on Friday, it was a -10. That is pretty bearish, but also it was coming up while the market was making a move back up. But Friday was really a very strong sell-off when you have a -10 to 1 on the downside. And also look at the advanced decline, well, a little bit over 2,100 more decliner than the advancer. So it's pretty much majority of the issue is in the New York Stock Exchange were trading lower. And looking at the new high, new low from the New York Stock Exchange, it's pretty much at a neutral. You can't get any more neutral than that, sitting right at 0 on Friday. So we did not see a acceleration of the new low. So that's a good sign when we saw a more than 80-point down day. And we'll see how this thing flush out next week if we continue to see more pullback from the S&P 500 and see do we get a little bit more negative on the new high, new low. In other words, more new low than new high. And on the AD line, the AD line is acting pretty normal. It's trending up along with the S&P 500 and trending down along with the S&P 500. Here is the new high, new low on the Nasdaq. Got a +1, and it was down over 3%. Lost 282 points on Friday, and there was still one more new high than new low. So that's pretty interesting. And similarly on the Nasdaq, the trend on the AD line basically moving up with the index. Here on the long-term monthly chart, you can see April finished up the month really strong, and then May started a little bit on a down note, but we'll see. It's still early in the month, and see what it pull back to this level here, somewhere around the 2,600 on a pullback. Looking at the daily chart on the S&P 500 and move this trend line and adjust that Now, if we do this, then essentially we saw a break of this trend line and started coming down. We're essentially still looking at this 141 here. It came down to this 141, seems to be holding support. So we're going to see would it be able to move itself back down to this 100% near the 2637, then get a push up, toward this 200% at 3082 level. Now, we also were looking at this particular level here at this 2934, and you see that it actually came up because we're basically looking at this zone here, right, between the 1618 extension and the 38.2 retracement. And even if we take a look at this trend line here, this shorter trend line, you see there's a break. Again, just because a break of the trend line doesn't mean it's actually broken the trend, because we're still seeing a higher high, right, and essentially a higher low here, okay? So we still keep an eye on that until this low take out this particular low here. Then we will say there could be a trend reversal, because now we're seeing a lower low, and then we look for a lower high. Then we be basically looking at something coming back down. So until that occurs, we basically still keep it intact on a near-term, uptrend with some minor precaution, because the VIX and also the put-call ratio is getting elevated again. So there will likely be some pullback, and depending on how deep that pullback going to be, that's why we are monitoring these zones here. And there are a lot of level just on the Fibonacci extension and retracement, because we also got this 50% retracement area here at this 2792 area, and that is in the middle of this 127 and 141 extension between 2821 and 2758. So we'll keep an eye on these levels here. 2821, got a bounce off of that last week and on Friday. And then we're going to keep an eye on the 2792 and also 2758. Once those levels are taken out, then we'll come back down and monitor the 2711 and 2641. And before I continue, just want to remind you to click the thumbs up if you like the content in this video, and click the subscribe if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, and also the notification icon so you won't miss any of my future videos. Looking at the SPY here, the ETF for the S&P 500, remember last week we were basically talking about this zone here, this value area. And we're saying if the price break above this, then we essentially watching this low volume area and see would it be able to break out this low volume area, then work itself up to the 297.97. And right now you see that it actually did break out of that zone, but also came back and test before it went back up to this, got above the this low volume zone here, this 288.44, and try to work toward the 297.97, but it failed. So now it came back in to this this zone here, this value area. So right now, basically watching it to see would it work itself back down. And let's update the volume profile, this composite volume profile here, and take it all the way to the end of this week. And you could see that it actually got filled up a little bit here. And also it has extended the value area now, right? So on the top, the bottom didn't quite extend because it's still down here. But remember, originally we had the value area somewhere around here on the top, right? So now it is extended upward and it came back in. So we're essentially looking at a new point of control as well. So it's chopping around here at this point of control, and we're going to see would it be able to get back up or it's going to come down. If it breaks below, then the chances are we're going to see it work itself down to this value area low, which is that 273 area. Just a quick look on the FANG stock here. This is the weekly chart. First is on Facebook. You see Facebook is coming up to this upper edge on the value area. So we're going to monitor to see what it break out of that, or it will pull back and work toward back to the other end of this value area. And you see Apple is still on this little bit of a uptrend here. We'll continue to monitor to see what it come up to test the all-time high, or would it pull back and retest this upper edge on the balance area. Here's Amazon. It reported earnings last week and got a little bit nasty candle on a pullback. But again, you can see that this could set up a little bit of a bull flag if it could work itself back out of this consolidation to a couple of week of consolidation zone here, or we be monitoring for it to pull back toward this edge here that it broke out a few weeks ago and see would it come back in. And here on Netflix, after the earning, it tried to break out, but it's pulling back and seems to be coming down to test this upper edge on this value area. So we'll see, is it going to come back in, or it's going to break this trend and continue its upward trend and possibly test its all-time high. And here is Google. Google broke out of this value area on its earnings last week. And we'll see would it continue to break out and move upward, or would it pull back in to this value area and possibly come back down. So those are the quick look on the FANG stock.